Thanks everybody for coming. I think this is a very interesting and different conversation with this group here because we're talking about growth and the VC world, and these two entrepreneurs here, they started a company in the 90s, bootstrapping, without VC money, and they had to make money from day one to survive. So I think that's a great story that they can share with us, and then how they evolve in their companies, and being able to start looking for international opportunities. So I'm going to ask them to talk about their companies a little bit, and then I'm going to bring Paula to tell how to prepare, how people are preparing for IPOs here in the New York Stock Exchange. So Bruno, if you can talk about UPX, how it started in the short term, but
yes,
how it goes today.
Guys, can you hear me? I'm sorry about my sex voice. My name is Bruno Prado. I'm born in Goiânia, Goiás, state of Brazil, and I grew up in Campinas, São Paulo. I started my company when I was 12 years old. Yeah, was a kid, like a big curiosity in the computers. Since my grandpa gave me my first computer. So between these times, so of course it is a long period. I'm not so old, but I'm 38 right now. But a lot of things happened, and I'm here, literally pre-IPO. So my history, it's very different between the histories that we hear today. We learn from the entrepreneurs today. So I start without money, without VC, even I don't have VC today. And we never get our money from the bank for doing what we are doing today. So we start, I start creating a CDN, a content delivery network. I will not explain what is it because yesterday you guys heard about the Cloudflare. So it is very similar from what Cloudflare are doing, but they start doing in 90s in Brazil. And after start on that with these services, providing these services for Brazilian companies, I received, long story short, I received my first cyber attack in 2006. And of course, between this time, my company grew and a big growing. So we start from the ground, and in 2006 we had more than 30 employees and more than 1,000 clients. And after 2006, I built my first cybersecurity product solution. So, this solution it is not for sale; it is for UPX, but for the UPX. Why I decided to create this product? Because we started suffering this kind of attack, and I tried to find a solution, but I can't find the solution on the market. After that one, my competitors start calling me and say, "Hey Bruno, why you don't sell your solution to me?" And then I say, "Why not?" So, and then I start selling my first cybersecurity services for my competitors. Okay, in 2012, I expand the portfolio of the cyber services, and the company grew a lot. So right now, what we do is we provide cybersecurity for the most big part of the banks in Latin America. So if you are from Brazil, for example, if you are using Bradesco, Itaú, Santander, BTG, Safra, or even the new banks like Nubank, you are using my company behind the scene. We provide a cybersecurity for the edge of the networks of these companies, and that's it. So the big moving forward to the.
No, great. Let's hear a bit about Roberto first, and then we'll go back to the next chapter.
Okay. So thanks for having me, Margarise. Thank you for the invitation. My pleasure to be here. Great presentations we saw yesterday and today, and I'm thinking and trying to remember and try to figure out what really made difference in my life. And I just remember that when I was a teenager, my father gave me a book that's called HP Way. My father is a scientist. He used it to work on INPE, the NASA brasileira, right? And it was an influence very early in my life that I started to have this kind of influence that we are discussing here, this Silicon Valley environment, right? So it was very early at the beginning, and moving fast forward, my father decided to move to Belo Horizonte, so today I live in Belo Horizonte. And he started a company that was a technology company. And another thing that he injected in my mind was that he was able to build the best product of the world, a technology company that was building in Brazil the best product of the world. So I was saying that at home, and he was convincing me. And I just love that.
What was that product?
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, no, he does. Yeah, that's a very good question, because he does products for the iron industry and mineradoras. Mining companies. For them to research, do research. And it was really, really interesting, the project that he does, but he had a problem in his company that he basically didn't have marketing and sales. So I used to work with him. My first job was at his company, and I was always pushing him, why you don't invest in sales and marketing? And he basically said that he doesn't believe in that. So, but that was the beginning of my career. And
you need marketing and sales.
Yes, I got obsessed by that. So today, one of the most important things in Take Blip is marketing and sales, but the most important is product. So, so we started Take in 1999. We were very lucky because, as Anderson said, but I think that we were really lucky because we started the company in 1999 because of WAP. Probably a lot of people here are not familiar with that, but it was Wireless Application Protocol. It was the first attempt to build the mobile internet. And we found the company as the first mobile internet company in Brazil. We started to try to replicate the success cases of the internet. Nothing worked. What didn't was a successful technology. But in some way, a person from Nokia asked to me, why not to build a ringtone platform, a ringtone download platform? I asked him, what is ringtone? But he convinced me that it was a good opportunity. So we started, we took 2 years to develop the platform. And we made the first ringtone download in Brazil in February of 2001. And since this first download, we grew until 2005 when we sold the company in a growth compounded rate of 250%. Very successful product, very scalable together with the mobile carriers. And a small observation, the ringtone download was based in SMS exchanging. The interface, the way that the users did the downloads, they basically sent a message to a SMS shortcode, and after that they received the ringtone. So we became very good in conversational messaging interactions and integration with complex systems like mobile carrier billing, CRMs, those kind of platforms. In 2005, we received an offer from a ringtone Japanese company. So we sold the company in 2005. It was a very interesting exit case in Brazil in 2005. That time, the word startup was not so famous word like it is today in Brazil. And so we sold the company, completely cash transaction. I still at the company as a board member. And in 2006, Steve Jobs launched an iPhone. The iPhone basically killed the ringtone business. The company that bought us started to suffering the whole world. So in 2008, they decided to sell back the company to us. We started to, when we bought back, we decided to do SMS applications. We were able to grow the company again. But in 2014, we grew just 10%. So we got worried. We decided that we need to reinvent the company. We started a meeting with the question that was, what would be the mobile app that we will develop? But at the end of the meeting, we got the insights that maybe someday WhatsApp could open their API for us to do the same thing that we are doing through SMS inside WhatsApp. And if it happens, it will be the biggest opportunity of our lives. So we started to work on this concept. And in August 1st of 2018, WhatsApp opened their API. We were ready at the moment with the best solution at the best country and the things that we started.
But after responding to your question, when I decided to move forward to cybersecurity by myself, study cybersecurity, I started my first experience outside from Brazil and touching some colleagues outside from Brazil. And then I decided to move the company and say, hey, look, why not go to the US or to Europe? Even if I'm born in Brazil, even if my company born in Brazil. Yes, we can do that. We have a capacity, we have a great product, and of course we have money. My company since 2004 generate a lot of cash. So even today it is more than 50% in liquidity revenue. Yeah. So and then we have some challenge to expand the company to US. The first of all, it is okay. What is the area that we want to expand? Because, for example, in Brazil we have the same problem. We have like a small countries in the state of Brazil, and different kind of people. So in Minas Gerais, it is a state. So, for example, you have you need to start the relationship with the companies, and after 2 years they close the deal with you, and then but they stay with you like for 10 years, forever. If you do the same one, if you try to negotiate with a guy from São Paulo, they want to quick pay whatever you want to charge, and it is much easier than Minas. And so different states of Brazil have a different perspective when you start negotiating. So, okay, we have the skill to negotiate. So let's try to understand how the US market works. And then I start a research with a company that helped us with that. And of course the company said, okay, Bruno, the first state that you need to start operation is Florida, and then you can expand for another states, because US, like Brazil, had a different culture between the states. And then I say, okay, let's start with Florida. And then I decide to expand to Florida and start the operation here. Right now we have an operation here with a lot of small clients. And this month we close the first big deal, removing a client from Cloudflare. And I hope, Priscilla, that maybe in 2 years I have the same position of Cloudflare here to be Priscilla. But so that's it. But one important thing about expand to Marcio, it is about the size of company. We are in a size that we are not small and we are not big. So we provide our services for big companies and small companies, but it's a big challenge for us not to have any kind of private equity behind our company or not be listed on a exchange. So I'm sharing information with him about the experience that we have. Like a year ago, I'm doing a deal with B3, it is exchange from Brazil, and we win in technical aspects with my competitors, Akamai and Cloudflare. We win the price. We win in all the aspects that the RFP is on the table. And but after that one, I say, okay, we can do it. No, the CIO called and they say, Bruno, look, I love your company. I love what everything you do for us during this test, this trial. But your company is too small. So who is behind your company? Then I say, okay, my family office. I make some money, but it's not big. And then they decide to close the deal with Akamai because they don't want to put his ass on the small company. So this is this point, this example, it is a big motivation for us to expand too. So that's it.
Okay, no, very good. Thank you for the overview. And I'm gonna tell Bruno has a little bit of an emergency in cybersecurity, so he might leave in a few minutes. So that's why I started letting him talk a little bit about his company before. And I'm gonna ask Paula. Paula, how do you see your clients preparing? I know this year is probably not the right year for an IPO, but they are still getting prepared and getting their financials in order. And how do you see that they're looking and coming to New York to visit their company here? And how many are you seeing nowadays getting prepared?
Yeah, absolutely. So hello everyone. Just a quick introduction. My name is Paula Ganem. I'm head of the Americas for the New York Stock Exchange. So I cover Canada and Latin America. And my main goal is to talk to entrepreneurs of this region, so Latin American specific, that are targeting IPOs in the near future, so 6 months from now, or three years from now, and really be a partner in their journey. Because I know from a personal experience how hard it can be to become a publicly listed company in the US. It is a journey, it is not easy, you do have to plan it to make it happen, but it is possible. We have great success stories, and my job is to make this sometimes painful process as easy as possible and be a partner to these amazing entrepreneurs. And when we talk about Latin American specific, we're absolutely blown away by the talent and the sheer quality of the entrepreneurs that we're seeing coming out of this region. Bruno, Roberto, amazing examples of that, and so many of you in the audience today. And
sorry to interrupt. We said here about Caipira before, and he's like empresario raiz. He's trying to translate that one
actually,
to English. But
yeah, actually, during CISNT CEP's IPO last year, they listed with us, and Cesar, one of the founders, during his opening remarks, he did like an amazing speech about Brazil and conquering and becoming a publicly listed company in the US and how impactful that was. And he finished his speech saying, nada mal para pequeno empresário de Anhanguera, caipira de Anhanguera.
That's awesome. Those
And
are the best stories. Yeah.
it was truly amazing, truly inspiring. Like everyone cried because Brazilians cry. And it was truly successful. Talking about preparing for an IPO and like you said, current market conditions, obviously, we can't ignore what's happening in the world today. So because of all the reasons that we're very familiar with, so, the Ukraine crisis, the raise in inflation, the raise in interest rates, tech sell-off, the loss of confidence in the U.S. market, we are seeing really a difficult year for the IPO market. So just to give you a little bit of perspective of the IPO market today versus 2021. Today in the US, we had 32 successful IPOs in the US market so far. In comparison to 2021, we've seen 259 successful IPOs. So that's over 80% of a drop. In terms of capital raise, it's the worst year in the last 10 years. In terms of market performance, we've been hearing from market experts that it's the worst year in maybe the last 50 years. So a really tough environment this year for IPOs. That being said, like Hans, I am an optimist, and I think that we have a very good, we have the privilege, and I have the privilege of working at the New York Stock Exchange and talking to all of these amazing entrepreneurs and really getting a feedback and an overview of the pipeline today. And what we can see is that the entrepreneurs continue to prepare for the IPO. And it's not a matter of if the market will open, because the market will open. It cannot stay the way it is forever. So the market will open eventually. And what we've been seeing from the entrepreneurs is that a continued interest for tapping into the US capital markets, and they continue to be prepared and preparing and engaging lawyers and bankers and getting ready for that when the window opens, they can hit play and do a successful IPO. And that's my first advice.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And speaking of great entrepreneurs, Roberto, yesterday you told me that you had meetings with Meta, with Apple, and with Google, and those meetings, they see you as one of the most innovators in business-to-business communication. Like when you said you pivot to WhatsApp, and we started the journey. How do you explain, like, is that what you did in Brazil, and how do you get to this point, and how do they see you as a partner coming to the US?
Yes, very good question. Yes, I arrived here on Monday, and I had meetings. The first day we spent the whole day with the Meta people. And on Tuesday I had the opportunity to spend 3 hours at the Apple office. And after that we went to Google. And it was really interesting because in all those three big techs that sometimes we think that they are unachievable, it was really easy for us, and we had the opportunity to organize those meetings with the top senior guys that are working with what they're calling business messaging. Basically what those three companies are saying is, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of time that people will interact with brands the same way that we interact with each other. That is true messaging. So it was really interesting, and as again, we are lucky because we started the company in Brazil, and Brazil has what we call WhatsApp factor. That is a complete dominance of WhatsApp that is really easy to explain to each Brazilian person or each Brazilian business leader how important it is for a brand to be inside WhatsApp and delivering a good experience. Doesn't matter if it's for sale, for engagement, or for customer support. It's really important for them to have a good presence and deliver a good service. And we had this vision that it could happen in 2014 because we were living in Brazil. We have this historical based on SMS interaction. So we were able to build the product, but not only the product, but a complete vision, process, services to help the brands to do that. So since 2018, we became very successful, and we have the most important cases for Meta built by our company in Brazil. 220 of the 500 biggest brands in Brazil are using our platform, and we are basically exploding. So now we are expanding. So we opened our office in Mexico. We started to do some sales in Spain, and we decided to open an operation here in USA. But what is the trick part here? To define to which country we are going, the natural thing for us is to go to what we call WhatsApp-centric countries. For example, Mexico is absolutely the same thing. This is a copy and paste strategy. Spain, same thing, a lot of countries. But here in USA, you don't have the WhatsApp phenomenon. Here, the people still use, they think they are using SMS, but almost all iPhone users are not using SMS, they are using iMessage. Android is the same thing. Sometimes you are using SMS, but you are probably using a Google technology to communicate to each other. So the vision that we have here is that probably the brands need to go to the apps where the users are. So it's tricky, it's not so a copy and paste. So for us here, we need to be very close to Apple, Google, and Meta. And we had those great conversations. All of them are asking us to come here. And just to finalize, at the end of the first day, I had the opportunity to chat with to have a one-on-one with the top business messaging guy in Meta. And he said to me that I would like to tell you 3 things. The first one is next year is the year of the CTX. But the CTX is a format of ads that they need to sell, where a user click and they go directly to the messaging ad. So they have a very big push on that. I need you to give more attention to Instagram, please. Help me with Instagram. It's because WhatsApp's really strong, so help me with Instagram. And what I would like to say is that probably you have one of the biggest business opportunities of the world in your hands. That is replicate what you are doing in Brazil here in USA.
Yeah,
he said to me, you are for sure 3 years ahead of any other company here, and I'm pretty confident that you can replicate what you are doing here. And let me know what you need from us to help you to start that here. So, and what I like on that is because of what my father was injecting in my mind. We are building the best product of the world there, and we are hearing that from Meta, from Google, and from Apple. So that's really exciting. So we are very optimistic about USA, but we know that will not for sure be easy. But let's see what will happen.
I just wanted to comment that if you manage to convince Americans, and I'm sure you will, to use WhatsApp, we will be the best of friends because SMS is horrible. So WhatsApp, please.
But this is almost impossible.
Bruno, do you have time for one more?
Yes, only one.
Tell us, like, how do you see cybersecurity? Fortuna is one of the most important teams of today, and is going to be for true for the next 10 years. How do you see this market and how you position yourself in different teams, and what else you're doing in this area that is new?
This is a really interesting question because right now, cybersecurity, we have a lot of domains. Done here in 2007, he's a cybersecurity guy, he said in a conference that in 5 years, we don't have more generalists, we have a specialist in cybersecurity. So, and this is what is going on right now. Cybersecurity has a lot of chapters. You have threat intelligence, you have network design, you have frameworks and standards, and a lot of domains that all the CISOs need to print all these domains and check the box, all these guys every day. So what I see it is we have a big opportunity for cybersecurity right now. In Brazil, especially, we have a pretty small market right now. It is $8 billion market. Compared with the US, it is $220 billion. And so this number show what is the status of the companies in Brazil. So we really are on the beginning in Brazil. But in US, you have a big opportunity too, because the markets are changing every day. All these cybersecurity domains and new companies every day. For example, companies that specialize for training employees to not get, for example, not to open an email with some hatred. You have different companies specializing in read all the logs from servers and using a lot of AI technology, compare all these logs and create some intelligence to see what is happening inside his organization. And just bringing for now, for example, you have a CrowdStrike. This company is really specialized in endpoint protection. So you have Cloudflare. It is a layer 7 protection and accelerate this layer of the web. And one password, it is a small company, not small right now, but specialist in only passwords. So we have a different kind of companies, and all these companies are doing some things on the cybersecurity domains. And the cybersecurity domains are changing every day. So right now, we have, for example, inside the network design, we have a cloud security. But I don't know, maybe tomorrow we have a different kind of thing inside network security. To finish another example, right now we start seeing a lot of companies doing a CAS. The CAS is a Cloud Access Security Program, and it is inside a Zero Trust concept. And a lot of companies that don't know about that, but will know in a few months or years. But this protects you against, for example, if some employee disable a second factor of authentication in your email, they block this user, send an email to the security team and say, hey, look, this guy disabled this the two-factor authentication. Or more sophisticated, like this kind of platform will read all the documents that someone shared inside the Dropbox, for example. They understand that it is confidential, And if someone on the organization share with someone outside the organization, they block the file, block the user, and send notification for the security guys.
That's really important and great.
I really need to go. I'm so sorry. I had important.
We're going to continue here with Paula and
on the
Roberto
fire.
a little more.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Paula, what is your advice that you
Yeah, it is a large bank in Brazil, and had some issues there, and I need to take care with the CEO.
Good work. Have a good work.
Paula, what is your advice? You talk a little bit about the market, but how do you see people, how these younger entrepreneurs need to prepare in order to be ready for an IPO? Like, what are the steps that you suggest them to take, and also a little bit of the points, like what kind of numbers they have to have in order to be a successful IPO?
Yeah, so a lot of entrepreneurs ask me this question, and when talking with them, what I always say, and that I use a little bit also of my background as a securities attorney. So previously to joining the NYSE, I was a capital markets and securities attorney in Brazil, in São Paulo. Worked for law firms like Cisco, Machado Meyer, advising IPOs and advising issuers and underwriters in the IPO process and actually drafting the legal documentation. So I'm very familiar with the IPO process, and things can go wrong very quickly. And being a part of dozens of successful IPOs during my career, and also being a part of even more IPO attempts that didn't work out, I would say that the first thing that entrepreneurs have to think about when they think about IPOs is really consider this as a problem that you're trying to solve. Just like when you're running your business and you have that frame of mind that I am an entrepreneur and I'm trying to solve a problem and my product solves this problem, the IPO is the same way in terms of planning and having a strategy behind it. It is not easy to become a publicly listed company in Brazil or in the US, and 100% of the companies that were successful, that were able to tackle the market, become a publicly listed company within the time frame that they had imagined, started preparing for that and had a working group, a solid working group, management that had previous experience with the IPO process, surrounded themselves with experts in various areas, whether that be the financial advisor, whether that be the US counsel. So surrounding yourself by experts and actually having a game plan and executing that game plan. Most of the entrepreneurs that were successful and did an IPO start planning that with a year, 2 years in advance of actually becoming a publicly listed company, because it's not just about fulfilling the SEC requirements, but it's actually, once you become a publicly listed company, what do you have to have in place? What are their checks and balances, the compliance, the accounting department that has to exist and has to be able to report your financial statements within a reasonable time frame. So all of that, the governance, right? You have to have a board. So all of these moving parts are time consuming. So having a plan and being able to execute on that plan is the most important thing during an IPO process, and starting early.
Roberto, you hear her, it's not easy. Why did you decide to, after being profitable and cash flow positive, to get some VC funds and now preparing for IPO? What is your view on that? And what is the next step for Take Blip?
Yes, we decided to raise money because we started to have this feeling that what we are doing is really, really big. Our first exit was in a good size, 35 US million in 2005 was really interesting. we founded on other companies. We were looking to receive investment from Red Point, with Anderson. So we have a very good case and very nice things that we did. But this time, what we are seeing is absolutely gigantic. So when we realized that, we said, now it's time to get in the game. So we hired an investment bank, Lazar, and we were successful. We raised $100 million in October of 2020, at the middle of the top of the crisis of COVID.
But still, $100 million Series A is not bad.
Yeah, it was not bad. But because of this, so we decided to do that because we really aren't thinking of very, very big thing. And so when we decided that, we understood, based on our experience, everything that we did, we know that this is a way without a turn. Once you bring a private equity inside your company, of course you need to give a path to the exit for them. So for us, and it's written in the contract, they can obligate us to make an IPO in some, it's not this year, but I don't remember how many years, but one of the clauses is if we see opportunity, we can obligate you to do an IPO. And I like what you said, because today is the best time to start to plan, because you don't see any way to do IPO. So,
no possibility.
Yeah, so there is no time pressure. So it's much easier to get prepared and plan that. So what we did, we hired KPMG, the audit company, as a consultant, and they did an assessment for us in a project that we call IPO readiness. And today I have a list of 510 activities.
Easy.
That, and the first activity was a test for me, that was define who will be the project manager of this project. And we are starting to manage with that in a very calm, but we are sure that we will be able to cover everything, and our idea is to be ready in 1 or 2 years. But in my opinion, we don't want to do an IPO. We want to have the optionality to do. It's a little bit different. So.
Does anyone want to ask any questions here to Roberto or Paula? Margarita, is there a microphone?
Yes. Where's the one?
Here, right here, there's a question.
Please say your name. By now we all know you, Rick. You can start talking. Yeah, you can start asking.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't want the mic.
I don't like the mic.
Yeah, he wants to ask and he wants the mic.
So,
Great.
with regards to WhatsApp, and I understand what we all share in common is that in the U.S., most Americans, they would use text messaging instead of WhatsApp. However, I would like to share a data point with you. So, my classmates in my class at GSD here at Stanford, we started with communicating with each other by having a Facebook page. We felt that LinkedIn would not be able to do that. It was not the right tool. And the nature of our class is that we have about 3/4 of the classmates that have taken assignments outside of the United States. So a lot of them are not within the United States. So in other words, it's less than 50%. So So then the bottom line is what's happening is all of that has been migrated to WhatsApp and no more anything else. That's what all we do is WhatsApp. So based on that data point, I was just thinking, well, maybe, just look at all the, like Harvard or UPenn, Wharton, and all those schools and look at what are the presence of their international attack, the people that have a class that have been distributed geographically around the globe, because once they are in, it's very likely their families will come in, and from there on, they can grow your snowballs. Just a thought that I think is a point.
Yeah. No, I love WhatsApp. So I'm a huge believer as user, not in the. They have a lot of users here. They have 100 million users in USA, and it starts to get some traction. But this is a user behavior problem. It's really hard because in Brazil, WhatsApp became our. It's an application that probably all the Brazilians here opened during this conversation here. We open each 10 seconds or 30 seconds. And the behavior of the WhatsApp users here is not the same. They open WhatsApp once a day. But the messaging app, where they are interacting with their friends and family, they are checking and opening every time. So, and it's incredible the kind of technology that Google and Apple are building to enable the brands to be inside those apps. So, yes, we basically, for the operation here, we are discussing three kinds of opportunities. The first one is with global brands, global projects, focusing in WhatsApp. The second one are multi-channel projects with brands focused here in US. So it's because one of the advantages of our platform is that you create just one application, and this application can be inside Android messages, can be inside Apple messages, and can be inside WhatsApp, and can be inside Instagram. So it's really one of our differentials. So in this sense, we like this broke that have in the consumer behavior. We are discussing some projects that are focused in the Brazilians, Latinos, WhatsApp users that really use WhatsApp as their main communication app here in USA. So basically, we are starting to prospect those three kinds of projects.
Very interesting. Any other question here in the audience? I have a last question for Roberto, because this is, how do you see the use of WhatsApp for payments and conversational commerce? That's something that are on the new things that are coming up, and is it WhatsApp or messaging part of that strategy? How are you preparing for that?
We have a very important reference that comes from China, that's WeChat. And what made WeChat what it is today for business was payments. And Facebook knows that, of course. And so not only that, but Apple with Apple Pay, and Google with Google Pay. So those three big tech are working with that. And those payment schemes are really deep integrated with their communication apps. WhatsApp, and what I most like in their strategy is that everything that they build is about the user experience. So what they are trying to build is a completely frictionless experience that makes it really easy for us to make payments. So they started, talking about WhatsApp, they started in Brazil, folks, in P2P payments, people to people, and it was not really successful. People are not using But I think that is not because the people don't want, it's because basically we don't transact.
P2P,
Yeah, P2P. So, but I'm really excited about the P2M, person to merchant, because the brands are rather using and doing transactions through WhatsApp, using what we probably everyone knows here is the payment links. Probably is one of the most important channels. All the acquirers in Brazil have a huge volume of transactions that are done. Start with a payment link. And the main channel to send a payment link today in Brazil is WhatsApp. And we have hundreds of brands that already are doing that. And we have the metrics that show that around 30% of the transactions don't confirm after they send the link. Because you need to click and go to a web and enter with your card and finish the transaction. So what they are working is in an experience where they will send basically a button where you just click pay and done. And the experience will be unbelievable.
The one-click experience, the one
Yes.
invented that a while ago.
But I have one thing that makes me a little bit worried about that, because some people say to me that they will never put their credit cards in WhatsApp.
They
Because
said they will never put it on the web, no? So.
yeah, it's about the same. But WhatsApp has a problem in Brazil that it's used a lot for fraud, right? For scam. And the people think sometimes that if they put their credit card there, if you have your WhatsApp stolen, they will be able to use your credit card. But the way that they did doesn't work in this way. So, because the credit card is saved only in your headset, So, if you have your WhatsApp stolen, the credit card information will not go with that to another app where they install your number again. So we will launch very soon, very big brands, and I'm really excited. I think it could be a game changer.
Perfect, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Roberto, for coming and for sharing this amazing story. Paula,
Obrigado.
for